All right, so this week I was really excited because I found some CHERIMOYAs at the market. And despite the fact these are freaking expensive, I bought 3. But hold on a second, just stay with me for a minute. The reason why is because if you've never had custard apples before, these taste like straight up candy. I used to be quite the connoisseur. I used to be addicted to candy. So trust me when I tell you, these and jackfruit are some of the sweetest and most unique flavored fruits I've ever tasted. So if you have a sweet tooth, you might want to try these. Just be careful because the seeds are huge and you don't want to accidentally bite down on these. So when you're chewing, don't commit too much. Make sure you go slow and spit them out along the way. At least that's what I do. I'm sure some of you already know what I'm about to make right now. I gotta have this in my refrigerator at all times, and I've been slacking lately, so I made some strawberry jam. Like I've said before, these are so versatile. You can put them in smoothies, you can put them on yogurt, you can put them on ice cream, you can eat them as is, you can spread them on toast. Great source of omega-3s and protein. These are definitely one of my vegan staples, and yes, that video is in the works. And I guess this was a prep day because I also soaked some macadamia nuts to use in a future recipe. And because that definitely wasn't enough food, but I like to start the day off with fruit, I actually had a bagel for breakfast with some chili garlic cream cheese. You can literally make this yourself. All you have to do is put your favorite chili oil into your vegan cream cheese. This was actually my first time having an everything bagel. I don't know how I feel about it. I think I prefer my bagel plain or just like another flavor, and then adding all of that garlic onion flavor to the seasoning. Is it just me? And it looks like more prep. So I'm also making a syrup for lemonade and defrosted some passion fruit to make another jam. And remember, my syrups and jams are from a previous video, so I will link that down below. But as you can see here, the process is really simple. All you do is use your sweetener of choice. Then with those macadamia nuts that I previously soaked overnight, I'm gonna make a macadamia milk. And just like cashews, this is ridiculously easy because unlike other nuts, these are the 2 types that you don't have to strain. So all you have to do is blend. Just like with my other milks, I love adding a fresh vanilla bean. I cut it open and remove the seeds, and these pods are what I use to make the vanilla syrup. In the food scraps video, if you guys haven't seen that, it'll be linked down below, and it's also probably popping up on the screen, and that'll give you an idea of how you can like upcycle and extend the life of some of the things that you would normally throw away. With that, I'm gonna make some overnight oats, and as you guys can see here, the texture is just so creamy. Macadamias are definitely one of the fattier nuts, so they're very rich. So it's great for desserts, but the nuts are definitely on the more expensive side. But if you can spare it, definitely try these at some point because they have a really nice buttery taste that is kind of amazing. This I paired with my strawberry jam. If you really want to take it up a notch, some whipped cream on this would be so good. It's definitely giving me strawberry shortcake vibes, but I didn't have any, so I just used yogurt. Also from the scraps video, I made some veggie stock. So this is me heating up what's left over that I made into ice cubes. I don't know why they look so red. It's definitely brown, but these I just warmed up so that I can rehydrate some mushrooms. And you guys don't know me, so you don't know how strange this actually sounds coming out of my mouth, but I do not like mushrooms. But basically, I've been trying to like expand my palate. I just felt like there was some potential there. Long story short, I stumbled upon these in the market, and when I very vocally expressed that I did not like mushrooms, someone who had overheard me was like, that's because you've never tried these. And he recommended that I go for porcini mushrooms. So that's what I'm using here. And I'm just using the stock as an opportunity to add a bit more flavor while we bring them back to life. But feel free to use water if that's all you have. You'll add more flavor later anyway. And obviously to that, we're gonna add onions because when do I not? So I'm gonna saute those with what I like to call garlic chips. So make sure you add a little salt so that you sweat your onions. I'm gonna roughly chop the mushrooms because honestly, I was a little bit scared at this point. Smaller pieces because then the texture won't drive you crazy. Because really, it's the texture for me. The taste, not my favorite either, but not the worst. So I was experimenting to see if maybe I might benefit in some way from eating fungus. To that, I also added some seitan bacon because it has a really nice smoky flavor. Because again, the mushroom could just not be the leading flavor for me. Bacon came through. I think that's what made it work. That and of course the onions and the garlic and the cream sauce. Definitely 5 stars. So you know what I'm about to say. If you try nothing else, make sure you try this. And to accompany my meal, I also made a lemonade, but one thing you guys don't know, because I haven't bought it in a while, therefore I've never showed it. There's this brand of rose lemonade, like I die. It's so good, and I never thought that I would say that I liked drinking potpourri, but it's delicious. The thing about it though is that it has elderflower in it. So I picked up some elderflower syrup from IKEA, and to be honest, I don't even need the rose. It's definitely the elderflower for me. So if you like floral notes, make sure you try this. Sparkling water, lemonade, perfect duo, definitely top tier. And that's coming from someone who doesn't like seltzer, so I mean, take with that what you will. And speaking of lemons, at my local market, I also found some pink lemons, which I thought was attributed to the little bit of pink that you can see in the skin, but actually when you slice these open, they're pink inside too. Again, we're making a syrup. This time I'm just using a different type of sweetener, so you can use any kind that you prefer. And by the way, if you're gonna make syrup this way as well, because you can just use the juice, do of course make sure that you wash them and give them a good scrub. One of you commented that I really needed to try Indian food because it's so good, and honey, I agree with you. So that was my reminder that I hadn't had Indian food in a really long time. But since I had nothing on hand, I just grabbed these samosas from Trader Joe's, and I have to say I've been really addicted to them. I've probably bought about 10 boxes by now. I just wish that they were bigger. And speaking of Trader Joe's, my boyfriend also got me these jackfruit crab cakes, which if you guys saw on Instagram, you already know how I feel about these. They're not it. They're not it. They're not bad. It's just that they're also not good. And in case you didn't pick up on that, more onions as well. You know, I should just grow these at this point. I'd probably save so much money. These I'm just roughly dicing because we're going to saute. Caramelizing them would be better, but I ain't got that kind of patience. So I just cooked them until they were like nice and fragrant and soft. Then I threw those into my cashew cheese. This is like the base that I always use. I'll just kind of add to it as I want to change based on the recipe. And yeah, I'm using more mushrooms because I was thoroughly impressed with the last dish that I made. So here we're making lobster mac and cheese. Therefore, I'm using lobster mushrooms. This time I'm just soaking them in water, but I've also seasoned them with some salt and Old Bay. And after a few minutes, I'm then going to saute them in some butter and a little more Old Bay. In case anyone is wondering why my pasta is such a weird color, I found this in my cupboard. Apparently it's made of lentils, so if you're looking for more protein, there you go. And yes, I removed that from the pan so that I can cook my pasta separately because again, this is still an introductory period, okay? I was still intimidated by the mushrooms. You gotta baby step me into your world. I tasted the mushrooms separately and then added them into the pasta at the last minute, you know, just in case. And as you can see, I definitely could have used more mushrooms, but this was pretty good. So that's it. Hope you guys liked this video. If you did, do give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you next week. Bye.